For people who are climate skeptics, how do you explain the role of climate change in a year like this?
The way I explain it is like this. We know that hurricanes are a natural phenomena, but climate change is exacerbating them, making them worse, like putting them on steroids. We aren't seeing a change in the overall number of hurricanes, but when those hurricanes happen, they are intensifying faster. They're getting stronger. They're dumping a lot more rain on us, and they're even moving more slowly. Climate change is truly loading the weather dice against us, putting us all at risk.
Can you explain why the intensification happened so rapidly, right? Ian was Category 3 last night, and then just over the course of a few hours this morning became a Category 4 and almost a Category 5. How do you attribute that to climate change?
That is something that we are seeing due to warmer oceans. So climate change is being caused primarily by digging up and burning coal and gas and oil, which produces heat-trapping gases that are building up in the atmosphere, wrapping an extra blanket around the planet. Now, over 90% of the extra heat that's being trapped by that blanket is going into the ocean, where it is powering stronger storms and enabling those storms to ratchet up far more quickly from a tropical storm to Category 1, 2, or even 3, 4, or 5.
The other piece of this that I think is really interesting is that, scientific data shows that the hurricanes are increasingly moving slower than they were in the last century. How does that dovetail with climate change? Is that an effect of climate change? It certainly has deleterious effects once these large storm systems just hang out over land.
The data is showing that on average, storms are moving a bit more slowly, but the even more important factor that we haven't quite touched on yet is the fact that warmer air holds more water vapor. So when a storm comes along, as they always do, there's more water vapor for that storm to sweep up and dump on us today than there was 50 or 100 years ago. And although you mentioned that any given hurricane is not the result of climate change, we are able to put numbers on just how much worse climate change made a specific hurricane. With Hurricane Harvey, it's estimated that nearly 40% of the rain that fell during Harvey, and in some places it was over 50 inches of rain, would not have occurred if that same hurricane had happened 100 years ago, as it easily could have. It was estimated even worse that more areas flooded and more economic damages occurred, because you might be used to 20 inches or 30 inches and prepared for that. But once you get into the 40 and 50-inch range, that's where the really devastating economic damages occur. And that's where places get flooded that were not expecting it. So we can put very specific numbers today on how much worse climate change makes a heat wave, a wildfire, and a hurricane.